Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Hello, Star Wars fans. You know, there's 328 days until Christmas 2025. Oh, my goodness. And sorry for the delay today. I got caught up in some production support issues at work around stream time. So it's good to be here with you all to talk about Star Wars. Once again, the news of the week. And there's been some news. We're in between shows right now, but that doesn't mean there isn't anything to talk about. And we've got some folks here in the chat. Skywalker's Academy. Dale says, boy, I miss Meg's videos early in the morning. I know. Look, Meg's been busy, and I look forward to her videos every single day. And I haven't seen anything from her today, but been chatting with Meg a little bit today. So she's out there. She's doing well. Jedi Mike, hello. Yes, Jedi Mike, we were chatting as well. You know, one thing we like to do here from time to time is have community streams. For those of you who are subscribers to the channel, people who are actually members, right? Members, supporters of the channel, and patrons, we sometimes do community streams where you can join the discussion and talk about Star Wars with us. Sometimes it's topic driven. Sometimes it's just an open mic. Like you can come in and talk anything about Star Wars you want. So hope to do that maybe next week if my work schedule will allow. And there's Matt Risman. Stream delay indeed. Started taking orders, sending the orders for those who won the Skeleton Crew predictions game. Started sending out those things today. Got Matt's prize ordered. I got a couple of others on their way. So look for that. If you have not responded yet, check your Discord messages. If you're one of our winners, I've contacted everyone directly and trying to get those orders out. So I've heard from Jedi Matt Risman. I've heard from RF Gaming Channel. We've got yours out. KG waiting to get just a little bit of clarification from KG. Nerd Mafia, if you're out there, I sent you a message. Check out the merch. Let me know what you'd like. And then Star Wars Politics, got hold of him as well. And of course, Brett Phillips. Brett actually contacted me back. So I've heard from Brett as well. So Matt, got your order sent your way. And Rebel Sith, good to see you all the way in Austin, Texas. Excited to be joining today. Good to see you too, my friend. Thank you so much. Brandon, hello there. Yes. And Star Wars Fits. He says Star Wars Santa should have a Ray delay hat. No, no, Fits. In fact, you know what? I got something ready just for you guys. I've got some more stuff to do, but this is for Fits, right? I got this all queued up so you can hear Fits. You're on the naughty list. You had it coming. You've had it coming for weeks, and there you go. Star Wars Fits on the naughty list. says, what has Cavill got to do with Star Wars? What did I miss on the thumbnail? Henry Cavill. You guys want to start with Cavill, a little bit of Cavill news? We'll do that. Let's see. I've got the news up here. Let's see if I can. Here we go. I'm going to share this, share my screen with you all. And let's see if I scooch over. It says, rumored Henry Cavill in talks. And this is basically the story if you've missed it. And let me just zoom in a little bit, make this easier for you all to read. It says, a few Star Wars rumors of the week. And it looks like I can make this even bigger. Let's see if we can. There we go. It says, start with the recent report that Ian McGregor could be set to return as Obi-Wan Kenobi for the second season of Ahsoka. And Daniel Rickman reported. Let me just touch base on that a little bit. Daniel Rickman claims to have confirmed that Kenobi will be in the second season of Ahsoka. I would say from what I've heard, that is consistent. I don't have any exclusive leaks for Ahsoka to share with you guys. Nothing like that. Again, I leave that for the professionals, and that's not me. My friend Jason Ward or Bespin Bulletin. I'll wait for them to get those things locked up and reported. But I have heard some early leaks about Ahsoka, and this is consistent with what I've heard. That's all I can say regarding that. More to come. More, I'm sure, as they do their homework. Since Ahsoka is part of the Mandoverse and takes place long before, after Kenobi's death in A New Hope, we'll assume he'll either be a Force ghost or appear in the world between worlds as Anakin Skywalker did in season 1. I don't know. I'll say from what I've heard, it's not the Force ghost side of things, but I don't know that it's this side of things either. There's other things at play, and things are. I certainly don't have a lot of detail, but I can say that what I have heard is consistent with Kenobi being in it. But what I heard is neither of these. So I'm not sure quite how this is all going to play out. It's still early. Ahsoka's not even filming in full yet. They're doing some pre-production there. It says, next, Jeff Snyder on the hot mic heard that Natalie Portman shot at least one scene as Padme for Kenobi series, but it never made the cut. And then there was a lot of speculation about, well, what was that? What did Natalie Portman film? And what might it have been? And the thought was it would have been Obi-Wan, either when he was talking to young Leia or perhaps meditating, reflecting back. Could have been a flashback scene kind of thing. That's what I would expect it to be, something along those lines. But it says, will she reprise the role for Ahsoka season 2? I don't think so. No. From the context of what I've heard Kenobi coming back for and Ahsoka season 2, no, it wouldn't be that at all. It says, moving on to the big screen. It says they're reporting, this is my time to shine. I think that's it, but on Twitter, they're reporting Henry Cavill. Here you go. This is for you, Fitz. Henry Cavill, Man of Steel, right, is now in talks for an undisclosed role in an upcoming Star Wars movie. It follows a previous rumor Cavill was being eyed as a part of a new Star Wars trilogy by Simon Kinberg and was tapped to write produce last year. Here's what Cavill had to say about his appreciation for Star Wars. He says, I am a fan of Star Wars. I would have to read a script and speak to a director before I could possibly say if I'd be interested in being in a movie that's not as simple as you know. Right? He says, yes, it'd be fun and ideal, but what if the script's bad? Right? You've got to keep your fingers crossed that it works. Now, just to touch base on that, I've seen follow-up stories on this that kind of hint that he could be playing a bad guy. He might be playing a villain. He could be playing a nemesis, right? And the question is when, right? And in what? Those are really the discussion points. Which project would he be in? And when is that time period? Is it in the Rey post-sequel trilogy content? Is it in maybe something new that we've not heard about yet? I have heard that there is at least one project that has not been announced that perhaps we will hear something about during Celebration. Now, that doesn't mean that it's anything different than what we've already heard. It's just, I heard an unannounced project. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know. That's all I know. So could it be the unannounced project? Could it be one of the projects we've already heard? It says, finally, we heard that Charmin Obeid-Chinoy's Rey-focused movie, tentatively titled New Jedi Order, will feature at least one other previously established character. A lot of speculation. It could be John Boyega's Finn, but obviously several other possibilities. Again, this is what I would say. This is absolutely consistent with what I've heard, and I would expect that we will get an update very soon on Star Wars Celebration. So hopefully we'll hear something on that very soon. And then there was a thing from Naomi Ackie, who was introduced as Stormtrooper Jannah in Rise of Skywalker. She said, ask them, right? What might she come back? She said, ask them. It says, Star Wars, get it together. I get a call. We'll see what happens. I'll see if I'm free. So would she be interested in coming back? Absolutely. Has she been asked? It's unclear, right? Unclear. Don't think so. Mods in Mando. Well, we'll come back to that in just a second. Let me get caught up with the chat in the stream. Matt Risman said, this is not a Leslye Headland song. Yeah, we almost removed Leslye Headland from the thumbnail entirely. And look, there's very little to this story to even discuss. Let me, I'll go ahead and bring this up just because I've got something here. This story isn't about Star Wars per se. It's an interview Variety did with Leslye Headland, and she came up to talk about a little bit of her involvement with Star Wars, but this is about the things that she's currently working on. The interview had to do with this stage hit, Cult of Love, and she's working on different projects. She's doing different things, and the takeaway is she's not really working on any TV series, streaming series, anything like that. She's taking a break. She's working on other things, movies, stage plays, other productions. She's not actively working for anything in a TV series or streaming. You know, she did Russian Dolls, and that kind of gave her a lot of attention. And then, of course, The Acolyte, which has mixed. We'll put it that way, mixed reviews. Some people love it. Some people think it was all right. And then there's a bunch of people who quite vocally disliked it a lot. Hello, Nick. Good old Saint Nick. Good to see you, Nick. I Hadga there. Hello there. Hello there. There's Seth. Good to see you as well. Rebel Sith. Cavill got to do with Star Wars. Hopefully everything. I would absolutely be thrilled to see Henry Cavill in Star Wars. And you guys can hear Peanut over there just making all kinds of noise. Hold on just a second. I'll go get Peanut, and we'll see if we can bring her over here. So I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, right? We're back, and there's Peanut. Hello. Oh, how you doing, Peanut? So Yeah, I would love to see Henry Cavill and Peanut. And I heard Josh Lucas talking about this earlier this week. I know he's in talks. Henry Cavill is in talks to do something with Warhammer, and Henry Cavill's a huge fan of Warhammer. It's one of the things he's really, really into, and they're worried that this is going to take his attention away or pull him away from Warhammer in some capacity. But we don't know. We don't know that. I would love to see him in Star Wars. Skywalker's Academy. Hello there, everybody. Right? There's Brett Phillips. Good to see you. Happy Friday to you, Brett. Star Wars Democracy. Hello there. Very good. Let's see. Yes, there's a Zoom meeting coming as well for our channel supporters. That'll be coming up in about 2 weeks. We try to do that mid-month kind of time frame. And Jedi Mike's right. If you're one of our patrons, you support us over on Patreon, we have a chat over there that you can submit a question, a topic, some discussion point on there, and we will bring it onto a live stream, just as if it were a super chat right here. So come join us over on Patreon. Hopefully I'll be posting more content there, but I can say there's over 100 videos already on Patreon that are not available anywhere else. So most of those are books, but you can catch that over there. Yes, in our Discord, come join us on Discord as well. The Chosen Pun, Mike Porter. Thank you for posting that as well. And there he is, Mike Porter. Yes, good to see you, my friend. Yachty, there's another good friend way down there in Florida. Good to see you, and happy birthday weekend to Matt Risman. Oh my goodness, is it Matt Risman's birthday this weekend? Oh, happy birthday, Matt Risman. Very good. What else do we have here? Just get caught up with the chat. Saber Smith is here. Good to see you. Star Wars Democracy. Question for you. What streaming software do you use? So I have Streamlabs OBS. It's now called Streamlabs Desktop, something like that. I use that as the virtual camera that I display on screen, and then I stream using Streamlabs product called it's Streamlabs Talk Studio. And in that's what we're in right now. This is the platform I'm in. It's Talk Studio by Streamlabs. They have a bundled product that includes this, as well as a bunch of other plugins and tools, and a merch store. All of those things in one big bundled subscription, and that's what I use. So there you go. There's that. Who else do we have? The bird is as loud as the sun. Yes, Peanut is being super loud and trying to get her to calm down. What do you think of the Kinberg trilogy will be? I'm thinking it'll be like 30 years in the future with Rey movie being set up for it. Simon Kinberg. That's a great question, Rebel Sith. There are mixed stories about Simon Kinberg's trilogy and the involvement that Rey may have in that kind of in those movies. And what will that trilogy involve? Will it be like Rey centric? Will she be an older peer? Will she? We really don't have a lot of detail. I hope to get more of that at Celebration. And I'm of mixed attitudes. My own personal preference. My personal preference would be absolutely, as you mentioned here, like 20, 30 years after Rise of Skywalker, Rey has a mentor role, kind of a leadership role, and is focused more around a younger Jedi out facing some sort of threat, perhaps a Henry Cavill kind of threat. Who knows? That would be my personal preference. But I think there's also space to like break this apart, like go way in the future. I know there are a lot of Star Wars fans that want nothing to do with the sequel trilogy. If they were to go way in the future, like 100 years after Rise of Skywalker, or even more, and deal with another threat. There are people in favor of that. For me, I'm in favor of more Star Wars, and that's basically how it boils down. Whether it's what I specifically like or not, I'm just more Star Wars is always good for me. So, let's see. Hoping the Rebels man, Kimberg, could be giving us an already established new Jedi Order. Yes, we'll have to see. The Rey movie is only 15 years later. Could be barely establishing kind. So I think of all the possibilities and potential that we have with Peridea. And I can't get my brain off of that story. When Ahsoka goes to Peridea in the season 1, right, goes to Peridea, they find Thrawn out there and Ezra's out there, and they leave they leave Ahsoka and Sabine, and of course we've got Balin and Shin out there still on Peridea. We learned that there was a bit of a dynasty, right? There was a huge presence with the witches, right? At one point they were huge, and all we know is this one planet, Peridea. What else is in that galaxy? You think about Star Wars, right? You have Tatooine, we'll say, right? It'd be like we come from Peridea into this universe, and we land on Tatooine, and we say, "Oh my goodness, there's a rich history here. This place has been around for a hot minute." And then we go back to the other galaxy and never explore anything else in this galaxy. Well, of course, there's plenty of other planets, including, Navarro and what? And it just goes on and on and on, right? We've got the outer rim, the inner rim planets. There's just a rich history in this universe. So I cannot get past the thought of having another whole story set up and told over in Peridea, in that universe, in that galaxy, and learn about the history there. We could learn a whole lot about all kinds of lore over there, and it could be fantastic. So I can't get past that. The World Between Worlds, is that like a galaxy version of Subway? Is it like no, Mike. Oh my goodness. Mike says, what does a certain Jedi use as a weapon? You get a bonus Mike Porter dad joke today. It's called a ray gun. Mike Porter, thank you for that. Let's get caught up with the chat. This says that I'm like almost 100 messages behind. So let me just okay, Matt Risman, this one's for you because you've been asking for it. You've been deserving it. And Matt Risman is a constant name that we see on the naughty list. So there's that. Hello, Peanut. Yes. What else we have here? I know that Mando and Grogu is in the works, but when are we going to get a Star Wars movie in theaters? When? Oh, well, Mando Grogu is the next one up, unless we hear differently, and that's not until 2026. And that was announced for like the May timeframe of 2026. But there are several other movies in the works, including the Charmin Obaid-Chinoy Rey movie that now has a new writer, including this trilogy that could be coming. It could be Rey, or it could be somewhere else. And then of course there's more, right? There's at least maybe 5 movies that have been announced outside of just the one. No. No, Matt Risman, no. So when are those going to happen? I hope we find out at Star Wars Celebration some sort of timeline of movie releases. And we've been talking about this somewhat on Discord. I've been chatting with Meg a good bit about it, and also my friend Will from Meta Egg. We've been talking about things as well. And hold on, I got a DM over here. Let me just check it. Okay, but live action Star Wars shows on Disney Plus, I think, have kind of played themselves out. We have Ahsoka season 2 coming up, but and Matt Risman has been involved in these discussions. To me, it seems like the profit model is just not there for Disney Plus. And you guys, we've gone through the numbers. You guys already know the numbers. But if you look at the number one streaming show for all of 2024 on Disney Plus as a platform, original content. This isn't stuff they acquired. It doesn't include Bluey. It doesn't include like reruns of Grey's Anatomy and stuff that are on other platforms. This is just new content on Disney Plus, not Hulu, because Hulu has some big things as well. On Disney Plus, the number one new content had like 3 billion minutes watched. 3, right? 3. Others, prior years, and Star Wars, Marvel, all kinds of other things, had numbers far in excess of that. 4 billion, 5 billion, 7 billion, 9.5 billion. These are the number of minutes watched. They were in magnitude higher than it was in 2024. Disney Plus's number one show only had 3 billion. Now, billion's a big number, isn't it? So, but where do they create new content? And if you talk about other shows, the ones that are truly getting big views, like Bluey, those are in the tens of billions, right? Like magnitude higher, 5 times higher, right? Way higher. So if that's the case, Bluey, Grey's Anatomy, there's all kinds of other shows that have been originally aired on some broadcast platforms and then are being like The Office. The Office is another one that constantly way up there in viewers, right? Yeah, hi Peanut. So those are way high in viewership. Those aren't originals. So do they keep making originals to put on Disney Plus, or do they go the movie route, right? Because Disney Plus did very well in movies, and it did very well with like Bluey, which is not even their own content that they purchased. Do they keep making originals? Where's the return on investment? Where's the profit model? Where's the, how do you continue to justify the budgets to create anything? Absolutely. I mean, I don't care what it is, Star Wars, not Star Wars, anything. If your viewership is going to be a fraction, number one was 3 billion, right? You got to do better than that, right? So I just don't know. Yeah. So let's see. I think we might get more. I think we might get more movies, less originals, streaming originals. Real Ben, even though Star Wars has a horrible track record of movies, I have my fingers crossed that all of these different things will happen. And by Ben means a horrible track record of movies. He doesn't mean the movies that actually released. He means the movies that were announced and never came out, right? He says, I have my fingers crossed that all of these different things will happen. We need Star Wars back in theaters. Amen. Ben, you're absolutely on point. Absolutely. I think Dave is purposely setting up a little seeds in that other galaxy, right? I think so too. I hope so. I look forward to the stories they can tell over there that are not tied to the Clone Wars, or not tied to Order 66, not tied to the Jedi even, right? Just other stories you could tell. For a long time, I've been kind of an advocate for telling stories with the Chiss Empire. I would love to see stories based on the Chiss Empire outside of the Star Wars galaxy, right? Um, there's KG. Hey, KG, I sent you some messages to get clarification on what you would like to order for your young Padawan. So check out those messages. Let me know. I would not be surprised if Santa gets announced as the writer for the Daisy. That's funny. Very funny. Let me see if I can get caught up. I'm still way behind on chat. If I missed yours, yes, I am a shill. I know. I can't. People call me that all the time. I mean, this goes to show you about Disney Plus overall. Acolyte was one of the most viewed Disney Plus last year, but one of the least overall for Star Wars. Disney Plus is going downhill. Real Ben, this is what I've been talking about. Like, the tide is low, right? So you have high tide, raises all boats. And during the pandemic, the tide was high. The streaming platforms the viewerships were high. Although I did read an article that said the number of minutes streamed on these platforms is actually up 10% in 2024 over 2023. But it's not going to streaming originals. It's going to these other shows. Streaming originals, their viewership's going down. People are going to the streaming services to binge watch, season 15 of The Simpsons or whatever, right? That's what's going on. Or to rewatch The Office or rewatch Grey's Anatomy or go rewatch Bluey or whatever the case may be. They're not really going to the streaming platforms for originals, even though there are originals out there, right? On all the platforms. There's just the viewership is a fraction. Even the number one on these platforms, their number ones are just a fraction of these other shows that they house on their platforms. So it's tough to justify. I just think it's tough to justify. Part of the Disney Plus issue is they want to be a premium service. Well, but again, I think they're doing well overall. It's just on these streaming originals, they're not getting the viewerships anymore. I wonder if they're going to release Mando in theaters and on Disney Plus at the same time. I don't think so, Seth. They played around with that experiment for a while. And I think the best case of that is when they released in theaters, and then you could pay a premium. You could pay like $20 and you could watch it on the streaming service at home. And you would own that until it released on the streaming service and became part of the release for everyone. And that was sort of the back end of the pandemic, but I haven't seen anybody doing that lately. So I don't see that happening. I want Star Wars to get back to the theaters. I think we all do. Star Wars in theaters is the way to make money, right? This is the way. Chiss Skywalkers. Yes, and if you've read the books, Chiss Skywalkers are not necessarily the same as Skywalker when you hear it, right? There's a whole story behind that, and maybe we'll get into it sometime, but maybe you already know, right? In the Chiss, they have some Force users that are named Skywalkers. That's their title. That's their job. Their job is to be a Skywalker. That's not their last name. So there's more to that. It says Floaty can't let go of Clone Wars. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. No. What are your predictions for Andor season 2? Well, Star Wars Democracy. We'll get a little bit closer to that, but we're getting there, aren't we? Andor season 2 is less than 90 days away, less than 3 months. We'll be getting into that. That the countdown is truly on. My friend Star Wars Meg is posting on that constantly. So there's that as well. Thronkill. I have 2 drinks and I'm skywalking. For the viewing figures, Percy was released in January and Acolyte in June. So 6 months compared to peaking. Yes, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Ihaga. Look, people can go on and on and on about the Acolyte and its quality and its viewers and why people viewed and why they didn't, on and on and on. I'm not going to dive too deep into that. You either loved it or you didn't. You liked it or you didn't. We're beyond that. I would personally love to see that story continued. I look forward to reading more of it in novels. I would love to see additional seasons of The Acolyte. And I differ from my friend Meg in that I would be perfectly fine with Leslye Headland writing and directing uh, 3, 4, 5 more seasons of The Acolyte. Sign me up. I'm on board. But I'm not the problem, right? What I'm doing, I'm using Netflix and just rewatching Arrow. Right. It started first season, going back to their old favorites. That's exactly it, Ben. People are going back to those comfort shows, right? And one thing that my wife and I often do, we'll put something on a weekend while we're doing chores around the house, maybe taking a nap, right? On a Sunday afternoon after church, we come home and we'll turn something on. Maybe we turn something on we've already seen. Turn a movie on, turn a show on, and we take a nap. We wake up, halfway through the movie or a couple episodes later. I haven't missed anything. Interesting. Star Wars just released a clip of Andor season 1. Is it to promote season 2? It is. And it's one thing, we're going to get to it here in a minute, but absolutely, they're releasing stuff to try to build towards the season 2 of Andor. Yeah. Skeleton Crew was lots of fun. Indeed, it was. Let the viewership slow, and hopefully, over time, we will see the Skeleton Crew's numbers increase as word of mouth gets around and people talk about what a great show it was, how much they loved it, just to get more people to come by. And the other thing that happens, I mentioned this before as well. My boss, for example, he gets a subscription service for like a month or 2. He binges everything he wants to watch and then he shuts it off, and he'll let them pile up. Right? He'll wait till there's 3, 4, 5 shows he wants to watch before he'll subscribe to that service, whether it's Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever. So if that's the case, then why not, when they get a few shows out there, why not binge Skeleton Crew? And we'll see maybe those numbers begin to grow. And maybe we'll be able to justify more seasons of it, right? Ben says, not to bash on the Acolyte, but like Meg pointed out, it's interesting how Star Wars didn't immediately purge. Well, there's reasons for that. They didn't purge it, but they just moved on, right? They're promoting the next thing. Already, as Mike Porter pointed out, they're starting to promote Andor season 2. They've got something else coming right after, and that's what happened with Acolyte. As Acolyte ended, and there was another show like right on the heels, and they started the push and the promotion for that. Well, Skeleton Crew's over now, and watch, you'll start to see all of that start to switch over to Andor, and it'll happen relatively quickly. Even though Andor still has 90 days out, you can already see that they're promoting it. And they're starting to promote some other stuff too. You'll see that in just a second. Celebration's got me pumped. Oh, yes, it's got me pumped as well. I can't wait. So let me get, there's more stories to share. I've got them ready here. And let's get into this one. This was starting to make its rounds as well. That really expensive hotel that most of us couldn't afford to go. I have a personal friend who went there twice, right? They went once, loved it, had nothing to say but how much fun it was to go on that Star Cruiser. Was it in my budget? To be honest, I did not have it budgeted to go on a Star Cruiser voyage. So it wasn't for me, but I would have gladly gone. But my friend went and went with his family and was invited back and went a second time. Actually traveled to go on that Galactic Star Cruiser twice. From the best that people who went truly enjoyed it. And you have to be like into the cosplaying and into like full immersion. And the people who were into that, and you also have to remember, it only had 100 rooms total. It had a very high had a very high expenses for the number of staff that they had and the chefs and everything they were doing. And the room rates were astronomically high. This wasn't a hotel that had, hundreds of rooms, nor was it like just come and be around some Star Wars stuff. It was a full immersion story thing. Anyway, it closed, right? It closed. I don't have anything negative to say except I didn't have enough money. Oh, if I had more money, boy, I would have gone. But in any event, it says they're converting that building. And if you remember, the Star Cruiser Hotel, it was not like attached to a park, like right next to it. They had a shuttle that would go back and forth, and they actually kind of secluded that part from the people who were staying there. When you got on the shuttle, it was enclosed, and they were playing like motion inside, like you were inside of a ship, and you landed on Batu. And when you debarked from the vessel, you were in Batu, and it was part of the story. And then they got back on, and it would take them back. So it was a full immersion kind of experience. So now they're transferring it over to some office for Disney Imagineering. Great. I was sort of hoping that it would reopen with lower expenses and maybe just be like a Star Wars themed hotel, not a full immersion experience with actors and assignments, and you've got a whole mission and all this stuff, which from what I understood from people who went was just amazing, an amazing experience. But rather just like a Star Wars themed hotel. I thought maybe would do that and would open with much lower rates. Something that more people could afford if they were intent on going to a Star Wars type thing. So, but turns out they're turning it into a hotel. All right. So there's one more story. And what I thought I would do, and it's kind of come up here as well. Let me see. Seth says that it seemed like a scam for the price. Well, depends on your budget, right? But the people who went, who had the budget, not anyone, at least no one that I'm aware of who went had anything like that to say about it, right? It just didn't. Yeah. So, but again, maybe if I spent $5,000 on a weekend, I would have like incentive to be more positive about it in my emotional, right? But people to pay to go twice or three times, right? And the recidivism rate, right? The number of people who went and went back was one of the highest of any Disney hotel, Disney property during its time of existence. They had more people coming back for a second and third voyage, whatever, than they would have in any other property. And the feedback from people who went was one of the highest that they ever had. Now, Disney learned a lot from it. They picked up some stuff, and they're applying that to their cruises and to other properties. But yeah, that was the deal. Let's see. No, I don't think Jason did go, Junior Jangles. I talked to Jason. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did. No, I don't. I'm pretty sure Jason did not go. The guy I know was Zuvium. Zuvium is what he goes by. Even at Atten couldn't afford to stay at the Star Wars hotel. Yeah, I'd have to break into a vault and get myself lots of extra disposable income in order to afford it myself. Hope I can go to Celebration next year. I would love for them to host Celebration in North America, host it in Toronto, Canada, host it in Montreal, Canada, hosted in Chicago or New York City or Detroit, anything like that, that would make me happy because I can get there from here. Japan, it's a bit of a stretch for this boy, right? A bit of a stretch. No. Yeah, the cruiser hotel idea needs to live on. Too much opportunity. Mike, from what I've seen in some advertising, it is in the cruises. There are Star Wars themed cruises you could take, Disney cruises. And I think that's, they're taking some of that and applying it there. Movies are much needed. Yes. No. Let me get caught up. Yeah, $5,000 can get you a multi-week cruise to the tropics. All right, yeah. It's not lost on me, right? There's, Junior Jangle said, yeah, he went. Okay, more of a Lanupa thing. Said I spoke to him about it. Oh, very good. We never did get to see the joint vacation of Santa and Melvin on the Star Cruiser. Oh my goodness, Baymax. You know that we ought to go on a cruise together. Darth Melvin, and you get all the shills and the anti-shills on a cruise ship together. So you can get Star Wars explained, and Meg and myself, and you can get like X-Wing, and gotta get our friends from EBN on there. Get a whole bunch of Star Wars content creators, right? And you can have a light side and a dark side themed experience. And for all the shills, we could go, to the light side themed experience. And then all of the people, the Darth Melvins of the world, they can go to the Sith experience, and you're all on the cruise ship together. How much fun would that be? Well, fiasco might be another word. That's true. Yeah, you can't forget Mike Zero. Mike Zero's got to be on there. He gets Star Wars Theory on there. Although he might be a bigger star than just a content creator, right? So I thought I would do this. I thought I'd bring up my Twitter feed, because there are some things on here. You can see Star Wars. It says, "Wake up, Nubs Nation! The younglings are back for the rest of season 2 on Young Jedi Adventures coming this March." Look, StarWars.com, Star Wars social media is already switching to the next thing, which is going to be Young Jedi Adventures. And then some of this has been making its rounds as well. Like the High Republic is coming to its end. I have read all of the High Republic novels, the junior and adult novels, all of them. I've read a number of comics. I'm way behind on the comics, way behind. But I am looking forward to this conclusion. Trials of the Jedi coming up this summer. More on that as we go. But let's just go to the top of the page here. And I thought we'd just go through here. There's a few things that are coming up, and one of them is in the thumbnail. Sophie Thatcher, sorry. Oh, different Sophie. Sophie Thatcher has talked about doing some blue screen work. And my friend Meg posted this. She put a quote. Let me just read the quote that Meg put, because I don't know if I'll see it or not. But Sophie Thatcher, this is a quote that Meg shared with us. Says, "I have something else in the volume, but I also don't know how much I can say. You can assume my character might be in more stuff. Yeah, I don't disappear. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that." Oh, well, Sophie Thatcher, she was a member of the mod gang from the Book of Boba Fett. And you start to see Sophie show up in some Star Wars stuff, because this is kind of making its rounds now. And the mod gang, my friend Baymax, he's a huge mod gang fan. He's been waiting for them to release the Mod Gang and Vintage Collection. He wants all those bikes. He's got to get a speeder bike. In fact, I think Baymax has got a project at home where he's taking his Vespa and he's modding it to look like the Vespas in a Book of Boba Fett. Pretty sure. He'll get me for that. I know. Look, I'm lying. I'm lying. if you know Baymax, he's cursing. Yeah. I don't know if he's still with us. Mike Porter, poll of the day. Will you tap dance at work today? No. Star Wars Outlaws composer Wilbert Roget is talking about Underworld. Let's see what else is on here. Oh, I saw this. This is interesting, and I haven't heard too many people talking about this. This is Star Wars Path of the Lightsaber is coming up. It's a manga. It's set in the sequel trilogy era. It says between The Last Jedi and Return of the Rise of Skywalker. And it has connections to the High Republic. Fascinating. Path of the Lightsaber. Here you go. This is coming later. How cool is that? So for folks who are fans of you must tap dance. Do it. I will not. Will not. Let's see what else we have. We've got some stuff here. Leslye just shared her reflections of the Acolyte. Yeah, Meg shared that yesterday. I was looking to see if there was more of this Sophie Thatcher stuff because I did see it in my feed when I first logged into Twitter X. Let me see if I scroll down a little bit, will she show up? Because people were talking about this is Purgle. This is the next one. Purgle will show up in Young Jedi Adventures. So there you go. There's a tie to Ahsoka, the Purgle, and not only Ahsoka, but go back to Rebels, right? There's Purgle, and then let me see if I keep going. There's the Path of the Lightsaber between it ties to the High Republic there. Oh, here we go. We moved from Chancellor Drellick too soon. And somebody said we moved on from the Acolyte too soon. So look, there are fans of the Acolyte. I follow many of them. Here's about Andor, right? Let's see. Some people being silly. I'm not finding the Sophie Thatcher post that was on here. Some sequel trilogy love. There it is. There's the Sophie Thatcher thing that's starting to come out right there. So this is Sophie. You may remember her from the Mod Gang, right? So this is coming. We started to see some of these things here for the Mod Gang, maybe being in the Mando-Grogu movie, because what is this blue screen stuff that she did, or the volume work that she did? Yeah. I knew if I poked the bear, he would show up, right? Never mind the 5 mile an hour chase sequence. Look, I knew I could provoke Baymax if I went into that well enough. Will she be in the Mando-Grogu movie? I can't look. I know a lot about this movie, and there's been a lot of leaks about this movie already. And you can see that our friend Bespin Bulletin has shared, Daniel Rickman, Daniel RPK, right? All these folks, they've already started sharing leaks. We even saw what's his name? Oh shoot, I forgot his name. But yeah, we summoned Baymax. If you mention the Mod Gang and you talk about how much he loves them, yeah, he'll show up every time, right? But no, there's a lot of leaks coming out about this Mando-Grogu movie, and I have not heard a visit to Tatooine as part of those leaks. I've heard of some stuff on Navarro. I've heard of some stuff at that spaceport where we first saw Zeb, right? I've seen some Jeff Snyder. That's it. Skywalker's Academy. Jeff Snyder. He's been sharing some stuff, as well as daggone it. I just had his name for a second. He just broke out on his own a couple of years ago, but it'll come to me. It'll come to me. But I've heard of some stuff going in the Mando-Grogu movie about Navarro. A good bit of stuff going on Navarro, as well as that the place where they met Zeb, right? And you saw that in the trailer where they were at that bunker when John and Dave came out and they talked to the folks. So all of that I've heard of. I have not heard of anything on Tatooine. That being said, it fits in perfectly because the Mandalorian has visited Tatooine multiple times in every season. Right? We've gone to Tatooine plenty of times. So I'm not saying that I haven't heard that it's, that I've heard that it's not in it. I haven't heard either way. So it's possible the mod gang could be it if they go to Navarro. If they don't, then, if they go to Tatooine. If they don't, she could be talking about something else, right? She could be working on. Wonder if we'll see Callus. So those of you who are fans of Rebels, you know who Callus is, and Zeb, right? Zeb and Callus. These are characters from the Rebels animated series, and at the end of that series, they went. Zeb and Callus went together. They left. Now we've seen Zeb. Are we going to see Callus? We absolutely could. We absolutely could. There was a lot of speculation during Ahsoka season 1 that we might see the guy that looks more like me, right? Guy with the white beard. What's his name? I can't remember right now. But anyhow, that's the news of the week, my friends. That's what we have. Just some channel notes here at the end before we get to our Mike Porter dad joke. Channel notes. Next week, I would love to do a community stream. We typically do those on Thursdays around 12 p.m. Eastern. If I can work that into my work schedule, we'll do that. Maybe we'll get Jedi Mike on. Maybe we'll get some other, if you've never been able to participate, maybe it's a chance you could be able to jump into a live stream. Yeah, that's maybe next Thursday. The end of the month, end of February. Tomorrow's February 1st already. The end of February, we're headed down to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We're going to be down there for an extended weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. If that's the case, then we will not be doing a news of the week then. So end of February, February 27th through March 1st, March 2nd, we're going to be down there in Gatlinburg. So what time will we do the community stream? It would be around noon next Thursday. And then after that, we would, the following Monday, we should have our monthly members Zoom call. And for those of you who did not go over last week, I shared an exclusive about the Mando-Grogu movie, a leak that I had cleared. I cleared this to share, and I shared it over on Star Wars Obsession stream as we were getting more subscribers for Scotty Hawk. I have a Star Wars Mandalorian Grogu leak exclusive. You've heard it nowhere else. You've heard it nowhere. It's Daniel Rickman hasn't shared it, right? You haven't seen it from Making Star Wars or Bespin Bulletin. They haven't shared it. Jeff Snyder, no, he didn't share it either. John Roca, nope, he hasn't shared it. This is a Star Wars Santa exclusive, and I had permission from my source to share this, and it's not a huge leap. If you guys saw the preview sizzler reel from D23 last year, and it made its way out there in their pictures, you could see Zeb flying a Razor Crest. This is a Razor Crest right behind me, right? Dan Djarin's first ship when we met him. we saw Zeb flying a Razor Crest and Din Djarin standing right behind him. You're like, whoa, wait a second. Is Ryder Azadi? That's it, Dale. Oh, that's the name I couldn't remember. Ryder Azadi. I kept expecting maybe Ryder to show up in Ahsoka season 1. So, the Star Wars Santa exclusive. Din is going to own a Razor Crest. It's a part of the movie, the Mando-Grogu movie. Din, you saw him and Zeb in a Razor Crest. Well, Din is going to own a new Razor Crest. And from what I understand, the markings on this Razor Crest that Din will receive, and I won't give you all the details. I know more about like how he gets it, why he gets it, who gives it to him. Just suffice it that he gets a new Razor Crest and he owns it. So it's not like he just goes on a joyride with Zeb. He actually gets to take it home. Its markings are a bit different than the Razor Crest you see behind me. So for those who are Star Wars collectors who may have an extra Razor Crest sitting in their garage or basement or up in their attic, hold on to it. When this movie comes back, you may be able to, the marketability of it, the value of it may go up dramatically depending on just how much of it differs from what we have seen before. It says he's a dad now, so he needs his minivan back. Just can't have a sports car with kids, right? And will he begin to mod it up? Put you got to put the carbonite freezing chamber in there and all of that as well. It says, does Zeb get to keep the N1? Is it a trade? Is Zeb trading for the Razor Crest? I've not heard that. I have not heard that. And again, I'm sharing very little. Most of this could already be assumed, right? When you saw Zeb and Din in the Razor Crest, you're like, oh, I wonder. Well, I can tell you for sure. Yes, he will. He will. He gets a new Razor Crest. So there, take that as a Star Wars Santa exclusive. We have a Mike Porter dad joke. How do you get rid of pesky pest in the galaxy? How do you get rid of a pesky pest in the galaxy? Well, you use blurg spray. Like bug spray, blurg spray. And Santa, I love my blurgs. I've got them on display here. You can see right back there, we've got Din on a blurg. Right behind him, we've got the She Who Shall Not Be Named. No, I'm joking. We've look over here. We've got 2 more blurgs, and I've got my autograph blurg right back there in the background. So I'm a huge blurg fan. It's good to see you guys here. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's been fun. And where did my chats go? Here they are. There you go. The chosen pun, Mike Porter. You guys follow Mike Porter on the Twitter, on the X, right? Make sure you're following him. He's a constant source of positivity, and he shares out. Yes, I know. Look, we've got Cara Dune over here, and up here. Right, R.I.P. our good friend. Right. So I have spoken. So Mike Porter says, need better jokes. There's Quill. We've got Cara Dune. We got all the things. I get criticized by my family, like, we don't know who all these people are. It doesn't matter. So I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter. So you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. In February is upon us right now. So we'll talk with you next week. Hopefully we'll have our community stream on Thursday. And again, thank you all for being here. And I can't wait to talk to you next time. Until then, my friends, Merry Christmas. And may the force be with you always. Bye-bye.